Hi everyone, you're welcome to Esther's Banquets. So we'll just jump right into it. How many of us grew up wishing our parents would just listen to us and have conversations? Because we had a lot of questions growing up, right? We had questions about why our body functioned the way it did. We had questions about puberty. We had questions about why we should not have boyfriends. We have questions why we are not allowed to attend certain events or parties that all our peers were going to. And so many questions, but you dare not ask, especially in an African home where you just obey. You are not allowed to ask questions or just say why. They will beat that audacity out of you. But this didn't help because then we're forced to, at some point, just talk to peers and get certain information from them. I have friends who admitted that they never knew about menstruation until it started, and which gave them the horrible first period experience. I had those who said their parents never warned them what to expect to their bodies and how to even manage emotions. Presently, I work with an NGO. I've been there for years, and in this field, I get to interact with a lot of young people, boys and girls, adolescents, and this is still an issue. Unfortunately, things are worse. Why? Because, of course, there's a social media presence, digitalization. Young people are exposed to pornography now more than ever, and they have questions. We have influencers online painting the wrong narrative about making money and the fast life. For girls, we see nudity. For boys, it's all about, okay, maybe cybercrime, making Yahoo look so attractive, and boys are dropping out of school, right? Making highness and drug abuse look so cool. Then at home, we still have parents who are uncomfortable having this conversation with young people. And a lot of young people are getting into trouble. Girls are getting pregnant and dropping out of school. We already have a statistics that doesn't favor girls in school. I mean, if a household have a little low income and they have to drop someone out of school, it's the girl child. The boy gets to go to school. And now the girl is going to school and she's competing with a lot of peer pressure that threaten her stay in school. It's already a difficult place to be, and we'll be having this conversation today that how can parents finally be in a position where they can have this conversation, make communication easier, especially with adolescent children, to arm them with the decision they need, the skill they need to be able to make decision, which we will call agency. Agency is when a child is able to say no without feeling embarrassed or feeling some type of way because she knows her right. She feels valued at home. She feels accepted. She has the confidence skills. She has the communication skills. She knows no is a full sentence. No need to explain herself or anything. Things like that. She knows the kind of friends she should keep. So for parents, how can we make these conversations easy for you? What steps do you need to take? Growing up, I had a neighbor who was so strict that would beat up his son and throw this boy out naked. We were just teenagers at the time. After some time, the boy left home and never returned. And I kept thinking, I felt grateful that my dad was not like that. Well, sometimes I still think about that boy, where he is now. Of course, a man somewhere. The trauma that will have had on that young man. And we still have this happening today because we're in a part of the world where discipline is golden. You beat a child to the point where you just want him or her to show you respect, to show values. But sometimes communication can even can help you find out what this child is going through. Sometimes, especially when children approach the puberty experiences and they start to just, get moody and it's not their fault, it's science. Their body, the hormones changing, and they have questions. They are just going through things. And just communicating with them will help you understand that this child is struggling. Then you see how you can help them, right? We have young people who went through their first period and their parents never, their mothers, especially in this case, never got to say, okay, at this age or from this age, you might be expecting something. It will come. This is how it to be. And this is what you should do when it happens. And they are just in school or out there one day and their period shows up and they're embarrassed and they are traumatized because why am I bleeding? Nobody tell them what to expect and how to manage their period. Menstrual hygiene management is a conversation to be had also. So for parents, I want us to sit down and really talk. How can conversations between you and your children be easier? We have parents today who, when they were kids, will say, my parents were so strict. I will do better when I'm a parent. And now you're a parent, right? You have adolescent children, and you still haven't had a conversation with them about puberty. And they are getting older, and they have peers, they have friends, they have phones. Social media is just right there. Do you know the number of our children who are already exposed to pornographic material? And you are there, you still don't want to have this conversation with these children. Not in a preachy and judgmental tone, of course. We have parents who are still so difficult, so strict. I was at an outreach one time, and a girl walked up to me and she was saying she was going through something. Her lesson teacher was harassing her, sexually harassing her under her parents' roof. And the first thing I asked her, I was like, okay, thank you for sharing this with me. Have you considered telling your parents? And she just panics. No, no, like, why? She said, my mother is so strict, my parents are so strict. And I'm thinking, how are you so strict that your daughter is being sexually harassed and she's scared to tell you? I took permission from her and asked her if I could talk to the GNC at school, the guidance and counselor teacher. And she said, yes, she gave me the permission. And I spoke to the teacher, and the teacher really thanked our intervention and told the girl that she would be inviting the parent to school. And she was terrified. And I told her, I said, as harsh and as strict as your parents are, if they find out this is happening, they won't beat you. They will believe you and they will handle the young man. Don't feel bad that you opened up. And she trusted us, and the school took over, and I had to leave. In another school, it was this young girl who said on her way to school, the guy is always harassing her, young man. And she told her mother, said, if it's at home now, your mouth is loud. You can't even handle that situation. And her mother hissed and left, leaving an 11-year-old girl to handle a case of sexual harassment. Maybe the mother is thinking, how do I handle it? Because sometimes when you don't know what to do, some people just choose to walk away and ignore and pretend this is not happening. But at the end of the day, children are a blessing from the Lord, right? And God gave you guardianship of these precious souls. And it's still your duty to lead them and direct them, so that they don't get into trouble, so that they can attain the future that God has intended for them. And the devil comes out early, very early. A lot of my male friends are admitted to being sexually molested as little boys, adolescent boys, by nannies or aunties at home. But for boys, for some strange reasons, they thought it was cool. But for a girl, any issue of sexual molestation is not considered cool. She knows something has been taken from her, and it can just derail her life. And then there are parents who are not ready to have this conversation and talk about sexual and gender-based violence. Tell the children where it can occur and to say, I am here, I'm right here. Come to me once you're experiencing this, right? I met a girl one time at a school, and it was close to the Christmas break. And after my session with the girls ended, I heard her argue with her friends, like, can I tell her? I'm like, I had to walk up to her, like, what's going on? And she explained that there was a man, not even a young man, always harassing her on the way to school. This is a northern girl. And I asked about her father. He's not in the picture. I think he was late. I asked about her mother. Is she educated? She said no, but she was really scared to talk to her mother. I had to sit down and say, see, they're about going on holidays. Teachers can't even get involved at this point. I said, see, as harsh and as strict as you think this parent is, your mom is, there's a way to approach a parent and tell them certain things, and they will listen to you. I told her, tell your mother, kneel down. We're Africans, right? Kneel down. Tell her, thank her for sending you to school. You're a northern girl. It's not really common to get that opportunity. And your mom is not educated. She's trying to give you an opportunity she never had. Kneel down, thank her for the opportunity, and then tell her, on my way to school every day, a man is harassing me and I need you to defend me. I said I'll be back in January to the school because the project was about a 6 months project, and I would like to know how it went. I said, trust me, Hawa, it will work. And she said, okay. I returned to that school later in January, and it was her voice. She was screaming, shouting at my name and before my class started. And I was so excited to get the update. And she said she did exactly how I said it. And her mom, she said her mom rose like a lioness, tied her headscarf on her waist, went there. The way she harassed the man packed out of the neighborhood and disappeared. The confidence in her eyes. I told her, I'm like, you see, I hope this can be a beginning of a better relationship between you and your mother. She might be strict. There's a lot going on with her, right? She's trying to make ends meet as a single income home, and she's just a mother. Try to take care of her children. She might not remember to smile, but she loves you. Don't doubt that. And I'm glad her mother did what she had to do and defended her. And I also told her, like, if you ever see a girl going through the same thing, you can now tell the girl what to do, how to involve parents in issues like this. And she was so grateful, and we ended it there. I am grateful for these interventions, right? But how many schools can I go to? How many schools for people that work in this field go to? So that's why a platform like this, we get to have this conversation that parents, please tone it down on being so extremely strict that your child cannot approach you. There's some parents that think it's cool where you are coming into the living room and your children disappear and you're happy. It's nothing to be proud of. You are behaving like a tyrant. You're a good shepherd. God, okay, if you're a Christian, you know what I mean by a good shepherd. Your sheep should be close to you. They should trust you. They should be approachable, that they'll come and say, I can tell you anything. Not terrified of your very presence and making these children vulnerable, making them depend on their peers. I was at a training once, and a health teacher was sharing about a girl that started her period and nobody told her anything from home, and she told her friends, and they were like, oh, it's time to launch it, and she didn't know what it meant. She was just about 12 years. What does launching mean? And they got a boy from the school, and they were even begging the boy. The launch was that he would have sex with her to launch her period. All the girls did it. She didn't know what sex meant. She didn't know what period meant. She was just impressionable. And it happened. And she got pregnant. She did not know. It was the teacher that noticed the changes in her, called her and spoke to her and found out that this girl was actually pregnant. But she had no clue. They called her parents to school and they said, I tried to ask her what happened. And she didn't know what happened until they explained what sex was like. And she said, oh, that she started her period a few months back and her friends told her it was time to launch it. And they got a boy and they pleaded with him and he had the experience with her. And she was just an innocent child. That could have been avoided if the house or the home front is a safe space where parents can say, sit down, let's talk. But admittedly, you can't give what you don't have, right? I understand that parents too grew up in homes where there's a culture of silence. You can't talk about these things. Your mother didn't even think they should have this conversation with you. But here you are now with children. How do you do it? I have a book I just wrote, and I'll be dropping the link in the comment section. They can teach you step by step process and guide to having a better parent-child relationship. And for people, older people here who are probably not yet family members, or you're not yet married. I mean, you don't have children yet, but you know you have siblings. You know your parents never had this conversation with you. But now you know better. What are you doing regarding your younger ones at home? Are you having this conversation? If you see what young people, the pressure they are facing out there, the kind of information they are faced with, you will know that your voice should be louder than the external voice of influence they're having out there. The things their friends are telling them. But if they hear from you, the home front, your family, a family is a child's first agent of socialization, right? A child will actually listen to what the mother and the father is saying before listening to what an outsider is saying. Then they get to evaluate. So instead of pretending and hiding that these things are not happening, that your children are not going through or having this experience, it's time to actually take the bull by the horn and sit them down and make the home a safe space. A safe space is where a child can actually, say, Mom, I'm going through this and I don't know how to handle it. I was at an outreach once and this girl was asking me this question. She said, Auntie Esther, is it okay to have a boy as like a study partner? And I'm like, okay, it's not bad thing, right? But I just want to ask, is he a kid's boy? And she started blushing. I'm like, aha, you like him. And she started laughing. She said, yes. I said, now, you're calling it a study partner, but you know what is really in your heart, right? And it's not a bad thing to feel the way you feel. But sometimes as a young person, you ask yourself, is this the right time? I grew up hearing my father tell me that boys are bad. He told me what he knew in his defense, my late dad. But boys are not bad. Boys are curious. Even girls are also curious. And I told her, I said, you're going to ask the question now. You are studying with this boy and he makes advances at you. You're not going to say no because you actually like him too. What can it lead to? She said, sex. Straight up. I said, okay. So what can go wrong? in having sex. She said she can get pregnant. I said, is that only thing? She said she couldn't. I said, well, there's also the risk of sexually transmitted infections. HIV is real. It doesn't show on the face. That cute boy might just be infected. You don't know. There's gonorrhea, there's syphilis, and a horrible other set of sexually transmitted infections. Just because you have a crush and you do that with him, what happens to you? Okay, let's say you even get pregnant. What do? The same boy will deny you. By the time we're done discussing the consequences of what can happen, because she is not ready, she realized that nah, he's not that cute anymore, and we're laughing about it. So I told her, I said, yes, he's cute. You are attracted to him. He's your first crush. She said, yes. I said, it's okay to feel that way. But for now, you can't act on your emotions or your feelings because you are not ready. There are some consequences to pay attention to. You are not ready. For now, what you should be focused on is your studies. Why? Because you want to go to school. You want to complete your secondary school. She said, yes. I said, why do you want to do that? You're in a community. How many core members do you have here? She said, none. I said, don't you want to be the first girl that will serve in this, that you return from your service and other families will look at you with pride and your parents will be so proud of you that you're a core member. They see core members out there, but not their own child. I said that also increases the potential husband you marry because you are educated. You can earn an income, earn a living. But by the time I was done painting a picture, because this is what girls need to hear, instead of pretending that boys are bad or that boys are not bad. But there's a time for everything. At outreaches, I will always tell these girls, I'm like, see, all these little boys in the neighborhood you think you like, just get admission first, go to the university, you see cute boys. They'll be like, really? Like, yeah, leave these boys alone. Not that when you come on holidays, you're not ashamed that, God, I dated this boy that the people get to further his education. He's just in the neighborhood now as a riffraff. I said, just save it, go to the university. Of course, when that time comes in university, you can now sit and have another conversation. Then in university or something, you should just jump into a relationship you're not ready for. First things first, my academics. As a girl child, life is already leading you 1-0 if you don't have access to education. Now your parents are doing so much to send you to school. Take advantage, get your education so you can earn a living. It won't be a single income home where it's only the man and you don't have a say because, hey, sometimes we talk about it like, okay, is your mom educated? These are real life conversations. No, she's not educated. Or like, okay, what does your father do? Oh, for example, he rides a bike for a living. Okay, if your mom was educated, would she marry him? They'll say no. Why do you think your mom is doing so much to send you to school? Are your parents? Do you want to jeopardize that? Girls like this real life experiences, real life conversations, and parents, we have to find time. But I understand it's difficult. You have 2 jobs, you're a businesswoman, you're doing so much, you don't even have the time. Or when you have the time, you think these conversations are not important. Or you think, in my time, my parents said they could even send me to school, and I'm sending you to school. What are you saying? You have a roof over your head, I'm feeding you. What are you complaining of? Well, beyond uh, uh, um, clothing and housing and education, there's emotional needs for children. They need a safe space to share everything they are going through. And that's where you come in as a parent because they want you to, you're their hero at the end of the day and they watch you, how you communicate. If you're always screaming and yelling your voice, they will avoid you and they'll depend on friends. And anything their friends say they should do, they will do it. So it's better to let them hear from you, the truth from you, not in a preachy tone. I am always upset when I go for outreaches and teachers, of course, give us space and we're talking with the young people, the boys and girls. And as soon as a teacher just comes in to check on what's going on, the girls just go quiet. But they were sharing very vital and sensitive conversations or information just a few seconds back. So what is it about teachers that scare them? What is it about parents that made them feel they are too strict, they won't understand? Or you can build this relationship with young people. It can save their life. Then this thing about parents always trying to get children to just say yes to everything. If a child asks you why, they are not trying to challenge you. African parents will beat the audacity out of you. But see, you're trying to build a child's confidence. If you say why, that's an opportunity for an intelligent dialogue to happen. You explain to them, this leads to this, and this is a consequence that can happen. And the child will really. Why is not an invitation to start beating up a child? They're not trying to be rude. Why? I'm curious. I want to know. Curiosity is a sign of intelligence. Then you explain to the child. Then also you can spell out consequences. You can even say after telling you this, if you do this, I'm going to deal with you. And in dealing with you, for God's sake, let's talk about discipline in Nigerian homes. My God, you beat a child, you leave marks. I met a woman one time who told me her mother would beat she and her sisters and put, as teenagers, put grounded pepper in their vagina. What are you doing? She has sons and she's happy. She said she doesn't want a daughter. She's scared she might do the same. I said, you won't. You knew how it was for you and your sisters. I don't think you will do that. She's just happy to have just boys. But that's trauma. We have families with adult children now who won't go home for Christmas, for holidays. Even on campus, they won't go home. Why? Their parents are abusive. A lot of traumatic experiences happened in the name of discipline growing up. And if you know what trauma, childhood trauma does to young people, it derails their life. It makes them make harmful decisions because they don't even feel like they are valuable. A young man who told me a suicidal young man, I was providing counseling for, all he heard his father always say was, "You are a disappointment, you are useless. I'm so embarrassed of calling you a child, a son." And this boy is intelligent. We got talking, intelligent young man. Had to over time, I kept telling him, "You're smart. There's nothing useless about you." But because of how he felt, he had low self-esteem. It pushed him into some pornography, masturbation, and a whole lot of. He couldn't sustain even a distant relationship and friendship with his peers. That's what trauma does to young people. And as parents, you have to work on this, right? If you have questions, reach out. We'll support you. There are guides you can use. That your own parent did it to you doesn't mean you should do it to your own child. I've been to outreaches when a girl said, I tried to tell my mother about somebody molesting me, and she's saying, "You're not the first. They did it to me." That it happened to you doesn't mean it should happen to your child. You should defend your child. Then there's the issue of harmful cultural practices also. Okay, yes, so they did a female genital mutilation on you. Why would you want it on your daughter? What is the health benefit? There's no benefit. You end up mutilating that child, cutting that child. A lot of complications for the child because you don't want the child to be promiscuous. So you cut off vital organs of the body. This is real life talk. What can you do better as a parent? And as older siblings, what can you do for your younger siblings? Creating a safe space. I know it can be scary. They might tell you some unsettling information happening to them or their peers or their friends. Don't panic. A safe space is where a child can tell you what they are going through, and you listen and you provide support. You provide factual information in a non-judgmental manner. The aim is for them to trust you so that they won't make certain decisions, or if they've been making it, they can change, they can stop. We have social media influencers now who wear some kind of ridiculous outfits that you don't want your daughter to watch. That's what she watches, and you will not tell her that nudity is not all that, right? That there's still there's beauty in covering your body and looking presentable. If you have to go nude to attract whatever you think you're attracting, that means you have to remain nude to maintain that. And there's more to you. Teach girls about values, about their self-esteem, about their self-worth. And for boys also, my God, we had a project one time and we had to do like a survey, a pre-questionnaire to just gauge their knowledge and the things they had to say. And especially for mothers, don't love your sons and raise your daughters. Your sons can get away with anything, but your daughter, you're just watching her because you don't want her to get pregnant. If every family is doing that, then at the end, we have some men young boys that grow up to be young men that are just basically nuisance. For girls, you've spent so much time raising, and they now marry these men and they mess with the girls. By the time we're done with that session, the boys understood about rape. They understood about power balance. Now, it's not because a girl is wearing some type of thing that she deserves to be raped. She has a human right. Your right ends where another person's own begins. We talked about toxic masculinity. We talked about boundaries, even in their relationship with girls. We equip them with information about making them advocate for the prevention of sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls. And even for boys, we open their eyes to the fact that boys too get abused. They might just shrug it off and say, no, it's all good, but it's not. Trauma, boys too experience trauma. Sexual violence happen to boys too. We even talked about in the home front, things as basic as cooking, cleaning up after yourself. And like, they have sisters like, okay, would they follow you to the university? I shared the experience about my younger brother. We were two daughters before him, of course. He went to school and within the first one, he has finished his pocket money. He called my mother. He said, please write, how do I cook rice and beans? Write a very lengthy text message, and she did. Whatever thing he cooked, he had to eat it like that. When he came back, he was lean from school, from campus. And my mom would be in the kitchen, he'd be following her about, Mommy, well done, Mommy, well done. That was him now trying to learn. And he did learn. But you can learn sooner, right? Cooking, driving, swimming, these are life skills. It's not gender-based. You need it to survive. By the time we're done talking to these boys about this, their mother started coming to the session to ask, what did you tell our sons? And we were so happy because that was a success story. That they treat their sisters better at home, they're more responsible at home, treat even their mother with respect, and they became quite domesticated, supporting and helping out at home, kinder and gentler, show more empathy. But we need to have this conversation. When people don't know, they will not do better, right? So we're glad for what we're able to do for those boys, and we keep doing the work. So even as older sisters, what do you tell your younger brothers? So that they can treat the girls they are dealing with better. Don't just focus on your daughters and say, because I don't want her to get pregnant. Worse things can happen than pregnancy to the girl. If she doesn't have a self-esteem, the kind of treatment she will permit from even her friends will shock you. Build her self-esteem. Tell her about her values, about her worth. And it's better if this is coming from the home front before she goes out there. Before he goes out there, and whatever they tell him or her there, because she knows the truth, like, nah, that's not the truth. She can stall certain decisions and say, okay, I can wait. I deserve better. She knows friendship that don't serve her. A young girl, I was in school, and she was showing me the mark, and at first I didn't know what I was seeing. And she said she has been slitting her wrists. Then I had not taken training on mental health and lay counseling, and I didn't even know how to react to that. And she said some boys were making fun of her that she was too skinny. A very beautiful young girl, adolescent girl. When I met her, she was around 13 years. That they're making fun of her that she was too skinny. And she was really beautiful. I had to tell her that you're not. You're beautiful. They're just envious of you. Don't let their words get to you. Told us a few words to just encourage and that. Then for the girls too, especially dark-skinned girls, we have a lot of work to do regarding body image. Colorism is a thing in Nigeria. I have an older sister who is light-skinned, and I'm on the darker skin tone. And growing up, even as an adult, I will introduce my sister to adult female friends that are adults like myself. The first thing they'll say, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Oh my God, why are you so ugly? Well, I heard that all my life. But I thank God for a mother who, my sister is as fair as she is, why I took my dark skin tone. From a young age, she'll ground it into my brain. She'll tell me, she says, see, you're dark skin, you're beautiful, your skin is beautiful. You don't have to bleach. I'll listen to her. I could never relate with her conversation when she's discussing skin issues as a fair person with my daughter, my elder sister. But the fact that she would take time and tell me about my skin and appreciate being a dark-skinned person, it made me so happy and proud. So the idea of bleaching never came. So whenever I go for outreaches and, for example, I see the fair girls, they are so confident in the class, confident in the sessions, they speak, and I see the dark girls and the others, I make it a point of duty to always compliment the dark-skinned girls, especially those with glowing dark skin. I'm like, oh my God, I love your skin. I can always see that look of disbelief, like, why is she complimenting me? What's good about my skin tone? So these are the issues we should have, conversations we should have at home with our daughters. Find out what makes them uncomfortable. Body image is a major issue. If a lot of women are going for butt implants, and you should know that it's because they feel if I look a certain type of way, I won't be found attractive. So body image affects both adolescent girls, children, and then adults. So if their confidence is built as a younger person, by the time they are growing up, it's no longer an issue. They love themselves the way they are. They are not two you on earth. There's no two me on earth. If I'm wishing I'm like you, you're taken, then who takes me? Right. So these are the conversations we have with young people to build the conversation, the communication flow. And as parents, for God's sake, when the children tell you something, don't use it to harm them or hurt them or humiliate them afterwards. You know what I mean? A child tells you something in confidence, and next time you bring it out and humiliate her, she will never trust you. Never. And also share what it was like as a young person in your time too. Let the child know that you were once a young person. When men were approaching you, this was how you reacted to it. Tell them about boundary setting skills, how to say no in a firm tone. You can be saying no and your body language is saying yes. Let them know this is how to be stern when you say no, when you are laying boundaries. You have to lay it clear so that it won't be misinterpreted, because there are a lot of unruly boys and men out there. Teach boys also, when a girl says no, no is no. It's full stop. It's not an invitation to try harder. These are conversations we need to have at home. Don't shy away from it. And now raise a boy or a girl who is just... See, there are some people you meet on the street, young people you meet on the street, and you just know they are unloved at home. You meet a young girl and she's looking beaten, and in a room full of a lot of people, she's just hiding herself. It's one thing to be shy, but when it's time to speak, you can speak confidently. It's okay to be shy. It's okay to be introverted. It's on that thing that you can't even talk. We talk to girls about, having your self-esteem means even for your female friends, you can say no. You can even decide and choose your friendship. We tell them these are the rules of friendship. A friend who puts you down because she constantly compliments you, always insulting you or humiliating, is not a friend. You don't get to decide who your sister is or your brother is or your family member. But when you see friendship, oh my God, you get to decide this person is my friend or this person is not my friend. And you choose who your friend should be. And they'll be looking so surprised. I say, yes, don't let friends choose you. You choose your friends. The one that will put you in trouble, always making you sneak out of the home because they'll be bullying you and telling you things that you are too scared and you're having fun, you're out there behaving like a bush person. Do you want that kind of friend? Do you know where it will end? Study consequences also. Talk to young people in a communication. Talk to young people about consequences. If you do this, it leads to B, leads to C, and E is the final outcome. Do you want that? No. Paint scenarios. Don't act all holy as a parent, like, when I married as a virgin. Yes, it's good to marry as a virgin. But if you didn't, don't lie. If you don't want to also disclose that information, it's okay. But just tell the child the truth as regards how to keep friendship, what to do when a man is talking to her or a boy is talking to her, how to say no, the things to consider in making her decision. And yes, the importance of celibacy. It helps her keep to her studies. Her value is intact, her body is intact, her honor is intact. She doesn't run a risk of somebody sharing her nudes out there. Talk to children about the dangers of the cyber violence. Girls don't know, a boy asks you for a nude picture and you send and your face is on it, and before you know, it's circulated. The day you ask him, you don't want to date him again, or he starts to blackmail you for money. Let girls know that boys might claim they love you, but another time they might just start moving mad. So they should protect themselves. Be aware of online violence and how to protect themselves so that they don't fall victim. Have this conversation. There's so much to talk about. Being strict won't get you anywhere. See, you can be a strict parent, right? And still, your children can still approach you. You can balance it. I'm not saying, be friends with your children and they lose respect for you. No, that's a different thing entirely. You can be stern yet approachable. Ask them about their day. Ask them about their friends. Ask them about their who influences them, who their best friends are. They might reveal something to you that will startle you. Don't panic. Take a deep breath and address it. Know who their friends are. Know why that person is their friends. Know what worries them. And for God's sake, period poverty is a thing. One thing I will always say you can do for a young girl around you who maybe her parents are really struggling economically, buy a pad or menstrual products and give to that girl. I've met a girl who got pregnant because a boy promised to buy her pad, and that was the end of her education. Period poverty is real when a girl can't have an easy menstrual experience monthly because she can't afford the product. Even access to water might even be an issue, which is why a lot of schools will keep advocating for schools with wash facilities so that girls don't stay out of school on the days of their period. Make toilets friendly for girls who are menstruating at schools. These are the issues, right? We have a lot, even as older siblings, to talk about to your younger ones. Girls have a lot of questions. Why is my period coming twice a month? Why? Tell them why. It's normal. Girls have a lot of questions. Why is my period skipping? Girls tell me, oh, my mother just started shouting because against my period. Oh, you are pregnant, and the accusation, and they humiliated them. A few days later, the period came. Let girls know that their period can skip because of hormonal imbalances. Maybe she fell sick and she treated malaria or something and she took a lot of medication. It can make the period cease for that month or two. A lot can just change a girl's cycle. Sometimes even during exams, because of the intensity of the studying and everything, her period might just decide to skip. It doesn't automatically mean pregnancy. If you are accusing of a girl of pregnant when she's not of pregnancy when she's not pregnant, you are you're messing with her. Treat your girl's self-esteem with so much respect. Boost it and don't tear it down. So that when she go out there, she can stand on her own. She can stand on business and say no to anybody. She can defend herself. She knows her right. Tell children about their right. Children have a right to an education. They have a right to live free of violence. Freedom of speech is a thing. Let children speak. Yes to correction. Oh my God. I'm not saying you shouldn't correct a child. Yes. But not to the point of, when discipline becomes abusive. Let's watch it. Sometimes, especially teenagers, conversations can even tell you where it's coming from. A child might just be reacting to trauma. That's why they're acting out. Somebody messed with them and they didn't know how to, and they just started acting out. I start to beat the child on top of the trauma they're already experiencing. But sometimes just conversation will help you realize that, oh my God, this child is going through something psychological. And you support the child. Let's also normalize going to see a therapist. The way you take a child to the hospital because the child is not feeling well, bodily, their health. The child can be sick mentally. Know the signs of depression. So you can tell, this child is struggling. And no, a child that used to be active, all of a sudden is sleeping non-stop. A child that was active, always extroverted, all of a sudden becomes withdrawn and getting isolated. Something traumatic had happened to that child. Go close and find out. And you might just be saving a life. A child just starts smoking and drinking and acting out. Maybe something traumatic happened to her and she just lost all sense of value. Trauma can actually influence bad choices, decision making, because at that point, a child is feeling, especially sexual violence, they start to feel like, I am now worthless, something has been taken from me, what's left? Then they just feel exposed. And that's what the devil wants. See, I'm quick of calling the devil, right? The way they attack children early in life, steer them in the wrong direction, just so that they will not achieve the beautiful future God has for them. But as parents, as older siblings, we have a role to play in this. I know this video is getting longer than I intended, but I hope this has helped. Please, let's normalize having this conversation. Normalize parent-child, older sibling, younger sibling conversations. Let's create safe spaces to talk and share and potentially save lives. Young people are going through things they cannot talk about because there's no safe space for them to have these conversations. If you can relate to any of these and you would like to share in the comment section, please feel free. And please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. I will be seeing you in another video. Thank you and God bless you.